Hey, welcome back, and thank you for registering for this free masterclass series on shifting from feeling fat, flat and frustrated to fitter, fabulous and free. I'm Sally and I'm a holistically fit trainer. My aim is to motivate, inspire and support you to get moving and to start to rediscover your aceness so you can feel more confident and connected. This masterclass is an introduction to show you some ways that you can start working on yourself right now. It's about bringing all different elements together, so some things you may already know, but there's other important pieces that you may not know about. I'm a firm believer that you can never get enough reminders and awareness of healthy habits. At Holistically Fit, our philosophy is to incorporate body, mind and soul when we work with you, because everything is connected, right? And when we're in balance, we function so much more efficiently. In this crazy, fast-paced world that we're living in, a lot of us aren't investing enough time on ourselves, always giving and doing stuff for others, and we tend to overlook our own health and well-being and maintaining ourselves on all levels. Has life got in the way for you? Have you got to the stage where you're a bit overwhelmed, frustrated with the fluctuating weight and moods? Are you feeling stuck, unmotivated and lacking inspiration? Fat, flat and frustrated? Now is the perfect time to do something about getting unstuck. Isn't that why you signed up for this masterclass? I reckon you're ready for some change in your life. If you want anything in life, you literally have to work for it. No matter what it is, nothing comes around from sitting around and not applying yourself. I'll say this again because this is the most important thing to digest. You actually have to do the work. Otherwise, nothing will change. And the work doesn't have to be a dirty word. It can also be fun. The return you will gain from putting in will inspire you to keep this motivation for change going forward because you will feel so much better and it's literally life-changing. I know because I've done it and I'm never going back. Getting your mojo back is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. It's like falling in love all over again, but this time it's with yourself. What I've learned, I want to share with you so that you can fully embrace who you are with much more confidence and conviction. To maximize the benefits from this masterclass, you have to make that commitment to yourself that you're ready for change in your life and prepared to put in the work. So come on, let's commit to change and get ready to do the work. After all, life is all about choices, and it's up to you to make the best choices for you and your body. One thing I've learned is to own your choices, whether they be good or bad. Learn from them and do things differently next time. After all, it's your body and your life. Okay, let's get started. In today's class, we're going to analyse you and your body. There's a great acronym I heard for FAT and FATs. Frustrated, anxious, tired and stressed. Your weight can really affect your mojo. If you're feeling fat, then you're not feeling as ace and awesome as you could be. 63% of Aussies are now either overweight or obese, and amazingly 56% of adults consider themselves to be in excellent or very good health. And there's similar stats in other countries. It's staggering how around the world we are all getting fatter and thinking that it's normal and healthy to be this weight. It scares me how complacent we've chosen to become. When it comes to talking about your weight, I'm all about how your clothes fit as opposed to how much you weigh. I'm not a big believer in the scales and weighing yourself. Psychologically, the scales can do your head in. Yes, they can be a good indicator, but honestly, you know yourself and your clothes are the biggest guide. If your favourite jeans have become a bit tight or the overhang is happening, you know the weight is shifting yet again. Now, here's some interesting facts. Did you know muscle is 2/3 heavier than fat, but muscle cells are 1/5 of the size of fat cells. So therefore it makes sense that often when you start getting back out into training, you increase your muscle, and that's why the scales may not change so dramatically. However, you will notice your clothes fitting better because you're replacing the big fat cells with the smaller, tighter muscle cells. So let's have a look at you. Are you happy with your weight? Is it an issue for you? But also, do you have realistic expectations regarding your weight and your appearance? There are so many factors that can affect your weight. However, from an overall assessment, could you do with losing a few kilograms? Well, as you know, your weight is a combination of exercise, your diet, and your lifestyle, and most importantly, your mindset. So let's have a look at your exercise. Your first task today is to jot down whatever exercise you've done over the past week. Try and think back to every day. So just on your notepad, write down one exercise and then you can complete it at the end of the video. Exercise has so many benefits and it is an important part of your overall health and fitness. It's also important to remember that it's so important to do stuff to prevent illness and injury down the track. Don't you want to set yourself up for a healthier and happier future? It's never too late to start. We're an aging population, and the more you do now, the better you're placed for the future. I'm a firm believer in the move it or lose it principle. Absolutely everybody can do something even as basic as breathing and stretching your body. There's no such word as can't. No matter who you are, what you do, or how old you are, there is no excuse not to do a few simple things every day to help yourself. Here's a few tips to move your body every day. I've got top 3 tips. Number 1, start the day with a stretch in bed or when you're in the shower to get the body moving, and the muscles will love you for it. For example, you can roll your shoulders back, you can stretch your arms over your head, give your triceps a bit of a stretch, shoulder stretch around the front, give your legs a bit of a stretch, hamstring stretch. It's beautiful. Stretch back your calves. Oh, you can't beat stretching it. Just get everything moving. It's wonderful. Number 2, schedule in some form of exercise every day for the coming week. It might be a walk for an hour, or it might be a gym session, a bike ride. Just plan to do something every day and commit to it. The hardest thing is getting started, but once you do, it just gets easier and easier. You get the feel-good hormones happening, you clear the mind. I could go on and on forever about the benefits of exercise. Even skip a coffee or lunch date and catch up, and suggest to your friends that you catch up and go for a walk instead. If you're already pretty active, try mixing up your type of exercise. Maybe some yoga, strength training, cardio. The muscles love trying different ways of training. And my 3rd top tip is connect with your breathing when you're walking or doing whatever you do each day. Take a moment every single day to focus on your breath. Try placing your left hand on your chest and take a big deep breath in, and then slowly exhale. Do this at least 3 times, and it helps you to reconnect with yourself. So hand on your chest, breathing in and exhaling. It's wonderful, 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 very calming. I find it helps me get back on track when I get overwhelmed, frozen with too many things going on in my head, and it gets me more clarity and gives me time to focus on the best way forward. I do this all the time. It's become second nature. Everybody has to breathe, and when we fill up our lungs with oxygen, we are aerating our mind and our body and our soul. It's wonderful. Okay, so now let's look at your diet and discover what you eat can affect how you feel as well as how you look. I don't like using the word diet as it has that fad diet connotation. However, I will use it today, keep using it, because it's a good general word we use to describe what we eat on a daily basis. I've got a few favourite sayings. One is, you are what you eat. Another one is, why blame your body for something your mouth did? It's so true. I think it gets forgotten that we should eat to live, not live to eat. How you look is due to about 80% of what you eat. Your exercise is really important though for so many reasons, but food is absolutely key to your weight and also how you look. I mean, do you eat a lot of processed packaged foods? Do you have a lot of high sugary foods? Do you drink a lot of water? Do you throw in lots of fresh leafy greens, fresh fruit and veggies? Do you have a sweet tooth? Do you crave sugar or salty foods? Do you eat breakfast? Do you eat throughout the day? There's so many questions relating to food, what you're eating, when you're eating, blah, blah, blah. But what we eat affects our mood, our quality of sleep, our energy levels, our internal functioning, and obviously our overall health and our mojo. It's just not the quality of the food, but also the quantity. You may already have a really good diet, but it's not just about what you eat, it's also how much you eat and how often, the size of your plates, the portion size. I could go on. There's a really simple equation to remember. Calories in have to be less than calories out. A lot of people don't realise that just because you've exercised doesn't immediately mean you have the green light to eat whatever you like. Most of the time, the calories expended from a big workout are never going to match the calories consumed with a massive pig out. For example, for myself, if I do a 45-minute walk that's about 4K, it burns off only around 110 calories. Wow, that's the same as one biscuit. It's not that much. You'd be surprised at how much work is required to burn off a lot of calories. So I'm a massive advocate for the 80-20 rule, and that's how I live my life. 80% good and 20% naughty. With our social life and our lifestyle, it's hard to always eat well and drink in moderation. Plus, as we age, there are so many extra factors we're fighting on top of food management. We've got hormones, stress, metabolism, etc., etc. But I can tell you, the cleaner your diet becomes, the more you appreciate eating well and the more your body loves you and you feel so much better. The more you connect with your body and recognise how you feel after eating certain foods, the better you'll become at making healthier choices and eating well. I know every time I used to eat bread or drink champagne, my guts would ache. My God, I'd bloat out. The pain was out of control. And once I dropped yeast from my diet, all that irritation left my body. I try to eat really well most of the time because bottom line, my body loves me for it. I hate feeling, and that's a strong word, feeling bloated, aching tummy, being gassy, etc. So I made a choice to eat what my body responds well to. Even certain fruit and veg cause me to have discomfort. The bottom line is that everybody's body is different. So what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another. One person might suit a high-fat, low-carb diet, whereas another person might work really well on carbs. So it's really important to get to know your body better. Listen to your body, see what works for you. Take note of what doesn't. The more you connect with food and your bod, the better you'll feel. I just love saying the saying, fresh is best. My aim is that you never have to diet again. If you follow the 80-20 rule, eat well and in moderation, then you're creating a healthy way of eating, creating lifetime healthy habits. I really don't think diets are sustainable and work long term. Of course, we all have moments of letting yourself go. Christmas is a prime example, but it's good to have that 80-20 rule of thumb generally in place. Once a week, I recommend breaking the rules and eating your sometimes foods. Your body likes to be shocked, so it doesn't become too complacent. It's the same with exercise. Your body needs to occasionally be confronted with new experiences. I just love pushing the virtues of more leafy greens in your diet. Anyway, we could discuss what's best to eat till the cows come home, but I still come back to the philosophy of working with your own bod and seeing what works best for you. Now for alcohol. Did you know that alcohol is basically another food group? There's carbs, protein, fats, and alcohol. It's just as important to be aware of the calories, the sugar content, the alcohol content, etc. in alcohol, and not to mention the other detrimental effects. As I said at the beginning of this video, own your choices. This is your life and your body. We all have choices in life, and whatever we decide to do, we need to be fully accountable and own it. Look, everyone has different stresses in their lives, and for having a drink may be a great stress reliever. Just remind yourself that alcohol is a massive calorie additive and also a bugger if you're trying to maintain your weight. Try the 80-20 rule with it. If you're committed enough to wanting some real change and alcohol is a factor, then you may find you will choose to live by the 80-20 rule. Okay, so enough about that. Here's another exercise that you can do. Over the next week, keep a food diary. Write down everything you eat and drink every day, the times you eat and how much you eat. Google up the calorie content and you may be surprised at how it all adds up or how you are eating sporadically. Write down absolutely everything. It's amazing how little or how much you can consume every day. Get to know the calorie content of what you eat as well as the nutritional value. Are the calories consumed nutrient dense? Also take note of when you are eating and how much. You'd be surprised at how it all adds up. Finally, every day write down how you're feeling with yourself. Rate yourself out of 10 for your overall well-being and mood. Start to see if there's a correlation with what you eat with how you are feeling. So that's a little bit of homework you can do over the next week. You'll find it really worthwhile doing the exercise and you might be surprised with some of your findings. Okay, so now here's another 3 top tips you can follow right now to get you more associated with the food you're eating and fueling your body with healthy habits. My first top tip, number 1, start noticing how you feel after eating various foods. Try eliminating certain things and see if you feel any different. Try substituting with alternative options. Example, cut out bread and maybe use lettuce cups instead. Buy a heap of leafy green vegetables such as bok choy and spinach. Understanding how your body reacts to certain foods is a really important step in feeding your body what it likes. Number 2, make a concerted effort to drink at least 2 litres of water a day. Keep the body hydrated and flush out the toxins. It's not that hard to get through that much each day, and always carry a bottle around with you and have one in the car. My third top tip is your gut. Your gut health is so important. Your gut has been referred to as the second brain. Your gut affects your entire health and well-being. So I highly recommend making or buying some bone broth. It's really easy and it's so good for you. It's particularly good in winter to ward off colds and flus, but also great when you are resetting your body and nurturing it from the inside out. Okay, so now we're at the final part of today's masterclass. We're going to analyse your lifestyle. Damn. Let's have a look. The best intentions to reset our health and fitness are often thrown out the window when the pressure of family and friends derail your plans. Some of our lifestyle factors that affect our choices are social pressures from friends and family, stress, fatigue, lethargy, attitude, and time. Don't you hate when you've chosen to have a good quiet day and friends pop around or ask you out? Oh no, not pizza again. Oh my gosh. It's a bit like shooting yourself in the foot when you put in the hard work to exercise and eat well and then fall off the wagon because of peer pressure or you're too tired. Our lifestyles are generally surrounded by the wrong foods and too indulgent on every level. Fast food is cheap and easily accessible, and in Australia in particular, we have a really boozy culture. But as I've reiterated a number of times today, we all have choices in life. We are faced with them daily, and whichever way we go, we have to own those choices. If you really want some change in life, then you have to be prepared to make some sometimes difficult choices. Once again, balance is really important. And by the way, changing your choices can help develop into breaking habits, and of course, beneficial to you and your bod. Having the guts to say no to unhealthy options is usually the most difficult part and becomes easier and easier each time. People are becoming more health conscious, so try suggesting healthier alternatives when it comes to socialising. Even like I suggested earlier, catching up with friends for a walk rather than meeting up in a bar, you'll thank yourself for it later. So here's our last little exercise to do. Write down a list of factors that happen in your lifestyle that you would like to curb or change. It can be anything at all that doesn't contribute positively to your health and well-being. Don't overthink it, just blah down whatever comes into your mind. Then list down your ideal lifestyle. Once again, don't overthink it, just write down your perfect life, what it looks for you. Then finally, think of 3 action steps that you can implement right now to bridge you from what you want to change and take you to where you would like to be. Make them realistic and achievable action steps. This simple exercise helps you to start thinking about what changes you would like in your life and how you think you could actually achieve them. By writing them down, you've brought yourself one step closer to achieving them. The next step, of course, is actually doing them. So, here's 3 tips to help with keeping up a healthy lifestyle. Number 1, work on balance. Try to incorporate 5 good days and 2 good ones. 5 good ones and 2 sort of, let yourself go ones a little bit, and don't beat yourself up about it. The weekends are usually the big undoing, but if you balance the rest of the week, it kind of evens out. But having said that, always make healthier choices. For example, if you're out for dinner, choose lean meat or fish with veggies or salad. And be wary of all the hidden sugar and salt in sauces. Number 2, try preparing a lot of your weekly food one day a week. Pre-prepared nutritious meals which you can freeze or keep in the fridge. So when you come home starving from work, you start raiding the fridge and can't be bothered preparing a meal, you already have one ready to go. It saves picking out on the rubbish just to quickly satisfy that hunger. And my 3rd top tip is try to manage your stress levels. Have a regular massage, try meditation. It's actually fantastic and not as scary as it sounds if you've never done it before. Give yourself time out when in the middle of stressful situations. Walk away from it. When we're under stress is when we generally cave and make those unhealthier choices. So, in summary today, I've given you a few tips around your exercise, your diet and your lifestyle. All these are key factors in affecting how we feel about our bodies and ourselves. In our next video, we're going to look at aligning you, where we release, replace and relearn ways of thinking and behaving. We delve more into the effect of our mindset, and it's a really interesting topic. I hope you've enjoyed part 1 of this Masterclass series of videos. Thank you for taking the time to listen, become reacquainted with some helpful reminders and some action steps you can take to get yourself back on track and work towards rediscovering your mojo. So, just small changes can have a great big impact. Start doing and change will happen. Nothing ever happens when you sit there thinking about it. Actions speak louder than words. I look forward to connecting with you again in part 2. Bye for now. See ya.